Okay, sir, let us start. Uh, I
Yeah, yeah,
would l-
please.
I would like to welcome all the participants also. I'm delighted to welcome all of you in today's masterclass. The title itself is very interesting. You can understand navigating the digital frontier, redefining work, talent, and culture. Here in this class, we will try to explore a significant shift in reshaping the way we work and the talent we are building in this rapidly evolving digital landscape. And it is our great honor to welcome our distinguished speaker for the day, Dr. Manoj. Dr. Manoj comes with over 27 years of extensive global experience. Currently, he is serving at Geo Reliance Industries Limited. He has been at the forefront of driving complex transformation across business, digitalization, and corporate HR worldwide. His leadership in global HR and culture transformation program has impacted not just the companies, but the entire industries, shaping how talent and capability building are approached in today's dynamic environment. Dr. Manoj works spans across countries, including USA, Europe, and APAC regions, where he has led end-to-end employee engagement and digital transformation for Fortune 100 companies. He has also worked closely with international organizations like UN, Tech Mahindra, and HCL Technologies, bringing innovation and organizational change to the forefront. Notably, Dr. Manoj is a certified organization change management practitioner from Prosky, USA, and a Six Sigma belt from Motorola. His contributions have earned him several prestigious awards, including the Best HR and Learning Leader Award by the World HR Forum in 2020 and the Brandon Hall Global HCM Excellence Award, both in 2021 and 2024. We are indeed fortunate to have someone of his caliber here with us today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Manoj at the stage as he guides us through the fascinating and transformative world of work, talent, culture in this digital age. Welcome, Dr. Manoj.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Arpit, for such a wonderful pitch for myself. But we'll be happy to to be a part of this particular sessions, and my sessions will be more into sharing whatever the credentials I do have in last 27 years of with the global organizations, of course with the Fortune 100 companies. Something which is also giving a kind of a kick, I can say, or make me always energetic and passionate about choosing those kind of things. So my I mean my intent for engaging this particular session is not to talk something which is already or with where, you have already read as a part of your course curriculum. So my intent will be more focusing on uh, how the entire landscape of this transformation is going on. So for the digital part is concerned, and how the softer part, which are more related with the talent part, more related with the culture part, because changing of technology and the process that you can do it overnight, but you cannot change the mindset of the people, those who are actually the driver for any change and all. And we have seen in past also, based on a lot of the research, and also uh, actual case studies, where organization has gone for a with a big bang, like CDO, CTO, I can say it. That is a chief digital officer, chief technology officers, and all for a big change and all. But they have not, harvested the outcome or the impact of those change, because people were not aligned on that. So focus, I mean, will be also talking, something why culture is important and how culture has played, pivotal role in terms of defining the organizations and also defining the DNA of the organization. Similarly, I will also focus on something where we have already taken some of the initiative in my current organizations, also with the past organizations, and what are the the key learning, key challenges, and the key learning which can help our the budding managers and also the managers, because I know this particular group is a very heterogeneous group, having different kind of a background, engineering, management, work experience, freshers, first year, second year. So I will just try to see capturing those which can be of good interest for you, and also give some kind of insight which will help you in terms of carving yourself when you're driving this kind of transformation program. So with this, I will just can you see my, I mean, say, the PPT on the screen?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
It is visible.
Yeah.
So Uh, Basically, if you see, there are some, I can say the facts, which is very important for us to talk of, because the way we are, moving currently, particularly, after COVID and all, where digital has become, the only key factor or a key driver for bringing, a lot of changes in the organizations. And if I talk of, some of the research which is being done by I mean, say, on the American organizations and all, they are saying almost 75% of the organization are currently going in a transition. So when I'm saying transition, it is basically the digital disruptions, because this digital part of the technology has pushed the boundary, pushed the boundaries, and also required, I mean, say, kind of a change in the business operating, I can say, the processes, in terms of, the way we were doing the business and all. It's not the same, because now a lot of things, which is happening with a click of mouse, be it related with your cloud kitchen, be it related with your transportations part, be it related with your shopping piece, and also everything, it is now started happening. And adoption to those kind of, the technological disruptions is going to define and redefine how, the future will be. And when I'm saying future will be, basically it's more focusing, the way we were, working, the way, I mean, say, the way the workplace was, the way the workforce was, it's all getting into a complete, transitions and all. So there are, some of the facts which I just wanted to thought, I will share with you. So according to, if you see the recent reports and all, which is being published by World Economic Forum, they are saying the 85% of the job today's, which we do have, they have been not invented, in the past itself. Similarly, if you talk of, the new technology which is bringing, and we also know, how these digital disruptions, particularly if I talk of the generative AI and all, it is, distorting the entire, the way we are doing the business and all. And if I give you the examples of, one particular organizations, which we are named NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is the, the company which is a US company, and they are known for, making a microprocessors, and chips and all. And if you see their history of the entire, the I can say the growth in, say, last 1 to 2 years, they have gone almost 500, the percent growth rate. So if I take 3 years back, they were a 800, 800, I can say, $1 million kind of a organization. If you see today, it has passed through with, a billion and billions of dollars for organization. So the growth is complete, because they have understood the, the need of the digital part, the need of the society, the need of the digital, I can say, the world, the need of, the how the things are evolving and all. And based on that, they have aligned. And that's why, there are a lot of organizations. If I take the examples of Google, if I take the example of Microsoft, if I take the example of Amazon, if I take the example of, these all uh, other, the leading companies, particularly Meta and all, you will see that, the way they are, they've started. For example, if I take, now if you talk of the Meta, say, why this Facebook becomes a Meta, the reason very simple, that they have also realized that going forward, a lot of the digital things are going to happen, and this digital avatar is, going to define and redefine the business operating models. And that's why currently, if you see, there are a lot of transactions which is going on the Meta, which is on the virtual selling of the real properties and all. I don't know whether you have, heard on this or not, but a lot of the transactions which is happening, say, on say the virtual world, that, you can, it's very similar to, you buy the share from the share market, which is again virtual. You pay virtually, and then, you keep this as a honor, those particular shares, and whenever you want, you are selling. So it's very similar, you are buying the property. Maybe, it is somewhere in, say, in California, or somewhere in, say, Indiana, and then, selling also. So you're buying and selling, those kind of things are also started happening, say, on online. And this is also, changing a lot of the business operating models and all. So if I talk of, some of the data and all, so if you see, whatever the job which you are seeing currently, uh, that's not going to remain in going forward in 10 years. And also a lot of changes, I will give you, some insight also on those. If I talk of the social media, you have seen it, the social media, how it has started, disrupting, and also, penetrating into the remote areas, or say, rural and urban areas. And it has become, the prime factor also in this. If I talk of, the people, on phone and all. So it keeps on going, and being a market leader globally. I mean, say if I talk of my company, my current company, Geo into the telecom and all, we are world largest data consumptions company. And if you see the numbers of the subscribers we do have currently is 400 92 million the subscribers. So it's not the story of only India. If you take the example of, I mean, say worldwide, number of the people those who are coming on the the smartphone is on every moment, every second it is increasing and all. Similarly, one of the focus which came all of a sudden, of course it was, I mean, say in the previous years also, but all of a sudden, from 2020 onward, now organization has started focusing on the wellness and health of their employees and all. So this is also has very very huge, I can say, the potentials. And a lot of the companies, be it I can say the startup companies or unicorn or silicons, they are getting into this kind of things and all, and they are leveraging whatever is available uh, for the customers, based on the use case, based on the success stories and all. And they are trying to align how they can take care of the the meditation part, the health part, the fooding part, the swast part, and all of everything is getting into that. So is a huge potential. So similarly, if I talk of one of the major part, in fact, uh, it is impacting a lot of organizations currently also, that is the gig economy and the gig talent. So when I talk of the gig talent, it's basically you are no more working with one organizations as a lifetime employment. You are also working with the multiple organizations, based on your subject matter expertise, based on your the skills and all, based on your experience and all. And you're not going to be permanent. So if I talk of some of the new technologies part, be it related with cloud computing, or talking of the cyber security, people, I mean, a lot of the gig talents, they are working on project basis, not as a, the lifetime employment and all. So this flexibility is also coming up very fastly. And being a part of the HR or HR manpower planning and forecast, almost 20 to 40%, that the resources they are factoring only for the gig talents. And also that is also one of the potentials here. If you're highly specialized in some of the skills, then you are becoming a basically a global kind of a player, where you're serving multiple organizations in one go and getting a good remuneration, so not stick to one particular organization. So similarly, if I talk of the digital transformations, as I said, this number has already increased. I mean, say it was, I mean, say a few months back, it was 67%, but currently it is going 75 plus. So every organizations, whether they are into manufacturing or in the service industries or into the banking or into the insurance. So you talk of any of the verticals of the industry, they all are currently going with the transformations. And we also knows the way this AI is disrupting, the way we have started using the generative AI and all, large data. So those kind of things can be very easily available, I mean, say on the internet. And you do the slicing and dicing on those kind of data and take some kind of the decisions, which is always on the real time basis. And also digital mindset, digital dexterity, then talking of something which are related with the design thinking, those are the things which are becoming a mool mantra for excelling yourself, successful organizational, I can say the operationals excellence part and all. Similarly, if I talk of some of the platforms, a lot of the works are basically happening, uh, related to demand, and the fulfillment is happening, basically on the platform itself. So taking, I may say, for examples in India, Naukri.com, or if I talk, some of the global companies, Indeed is there. Then we have glass doors and all, they are providing a platform where you can join there as a as a expert, and you can provide your services and get the payment for that. So I just wanted to give kind of insight which can help you in terms of understanding that how the world is fastly moving, and how we can get into those kind of things, because it's impacting not only me or not only us, but it is impacting the entire entire world basically. So These changes are, whether you want, whether you like, whether you're happy or not, it is going to happen. And you need to, select something, where you wanted to actually excel and, add a lot of, the value to the organizations, to the society, to the nations, to the country. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this, the growth curve. So if I take the example, say 20 years back, the most of the growth was linear, and very simply, if I ask, what are those, five or 10 companies, those who are on the top, I mean, say in terms of the revenue, in terms of the value adding and all, none of the company, I mean, say, out of the this 10 companies, they are more than 20, 25 years old. So gone are the days, when we are talking about GM and all, because they ruled the world, I mean, in terms of their outcome, in terms of the value additions, in terms of the employment generation, in terms of revenue generations and all. They were basically ruling the world from last, say, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. But none of those company, if you see the history, currently top 10 companies, they are into that top companies. So the linear, the growth has gone, and the exponential growth. And I've given you the example of, Nvidia or Samsung. There are a lot of companies, you just go and go to them, the Google, and you can find, how the growth history of these companies has impacted us as a customers, impacted the business as a, the business leaders and all. So now the linear growth has gone, and exponential growth has, come into the picture. And a lot of the company, they are bringing disruptions, in terms of their the value propositions, in terms of their revenue part and all. And the only thing which I say, with this all growth, with this all exponential, linear and exponential growth, is the learning agility which we are doing today also, and we keeps on doing, and this learning part and all. Because I can say, the learning is the growth. Okay. And growth is the life. So continuous learning agility, these are the things, which make you basically relevant in any point of time. So please don't, lose this particular momentum. Because maybe, you are working as a very senior leader, I mean, in the organizations, or you have just started your career, or, you are still studying and all. But this particular piece, which I always say as a mul mantra, you keeps on learning on a continuous basis, and try to, see that what are the tacit knowledge, or what are the, the meaningful knowledge you wanted to grab it. Because lot of, the informations, and lot of, the I can say the contents are there, which is available on the various, the open source, and also the license version and all. But you need to, focus on that, what are those things, what are those, the areas, or what are those, domains, or the verticals where you wanted to grab it, the knowledge which is going to help you in terms of adding your career path. Cool. So I will just go to the next piece. That is, this is a video which will give you a kind of insight on, and the name of the video is the Time Square, which will help you in terms of understanding that how the entire world is, changing very fastly, and where we need to focus on. So it's more of a technology and the software part where we have to focus. Just watch this video. Hope you can hear the voice.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough.
Can you get the volume also?
Sir, I can get, even the students can tell you through chat. Yes, sir, some of the students are getting it.
Okay, fair enough.
No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future because machines are very good at simulating but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business models. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
Okay, fine. So, any thought I will say around this particular video? So that's the reality. So you can drop on the chat box. Cool. So I will just go ahead with my next piece. So, if you just see this particular slide, which is more talking of the digital disruptions and what are those technologies, which is basically, impacting not only the organizations, not only the business, but impacting us also. And in this particular video, we have seen it, how this VUCA world or a Bani world, is becoming a mool mantra for each and every, the organizations. And the most important part, which I wanted to highlight here, is that yes, high tech is important for any business, but high touch is equally important. We should not lose the human values, which is coming, from the creativity, coming from the innovations, coming for the ethics and the values of the organization. So there should be a combination of both, that is high tech and the high touch, because this can go together. And we have also seen, when the technology is not used for the mankind, for the good of the mankind, how it becomes a disruptive and all. And we have started, seeing that, I don't know whether you know that particular, the incident which has happened with the Facebook, where this chatbot has started, behaving in a very weird way and all. And immediately, they have taken a call to stop this particular, the chatbot, so that they can, make some kind of a corrections, because technology can be used for both the purposes. And we have also seen multiple stories, very recently. We have seen that, because of some technical glitches, on the data and data part, the Indigo has uh, basically, their flight timings and all, everything got disrupted. So technology, yes, dependency on the technology is important, but there should be a balance, how we can backfill, some of the things which are also important as a part of, I can say, the software piece. So if I take some of the driving, I mean, say the technologies which are related with basically mobile or a social technologies or a big data. So big data, one of the things which I've seen it, going forward, a lot of things I can say. Data, data has become a new fuel and all, and everything and anything which can be digitalized, that can be converted into a data. So as I speak, if I'm connected, say on the smartphone or connected with some of the internet and all, all the voice, what I'm talking of, it's passively being basically recorded by by that particular applications, be it related with the Gmail or a Google or whatever. And they are basically doing on the back end, they are generating a lot of data out of all the the transactions which you are doing. Even whatever you are doing, say on the Google, in terms of searching, and by using the search engine and all, everything is getting recorded, and those data is basically it's giving back to some of the organizations, those who are basically into that particular business. So they do some kind of slicing and dicing of those data, and create some kind of inferences, which is or inferences and the analytics which is being consumed by the the various companies. So if you're thinking that the Google on which I am doing the surfing, of course for us it is a free of cost, but actually the data which is generating based on your behavior on the Google, on the Google search engine, those data are basically getting into into some kind of a meaningful analytics, and those analytics are basically sold to the companies, or to the customers, those who are looking for those kind of informations. So one more thing, if I ask you a very simple question, that when you're using, say, Facebook or a Meta or Instagram or say the Google and all, why they are providing this this kind of a services free to us? The reason is very simple, that by giving you this kind of I mean, say, the utility or say the facilities, they are generating immense, immense data. Data, we call it the data lake or a data ocean, which they use it, for some purposes, and sell it to those analytics to the organization. So nothing is free, I can say it. But yes, going forward, one thing is going to be become a very important part, is that a lot of the business operating, the business will be running on this particular model, where the first interface with the customers will be free, rest of the interface will be you have to pay for it. And that's why if you see, most of if you're using any kind of a software called ERP and all, be it related with Oracle or a Microsoft Dynamics or SFDC and all, if you see these all, I mean, so the organizations, they are basically asking for a subscription. So subscription is nothing, that if you are using this software, you have to pay the license fee and all. But if I ask you a very simple question, that are you paying any amount for using the Android? Answer is very simple, no. Are you paying some of the open sources which is available, say on the internet, related with say learning management part, or related to some of the software which you are using, so like YouTube, RTube and all kind of things and all, you're not paying any amount for those. But yes, the this open source is going to be the new buzz and all, and that's going to rule the world, because now organization has started realizing that if they will start working, I mean, say, on the digital platform way of working and all, the subscriptions fee will be very high. So for example, I will give you, if you are using, I mean, say, some kind of a data analytics kind of a software, so be it Orange, or be it something Seam Data and all, these all, I mean, say, the data analytics tools are free of cost. Okay, so there is no, I mean, the subscriptions you have to pay. You can use it. Just go on the Google. I mean, say, download and from the Google Play, and you can start using those. But if you're using, some of the softwares like Power BI or say Tableau and all, which has a similar kind of the features and all, for which you have to pay at least $100 to $150 subscriptions for individuals users and all. So what I'm saying, the going forward, this all open source kind of a software is going to be going to be available for the usage. And a lot of the organizations, they have already started giving this kind of a software on free of cost, and they generate the revenue by some other models. You just I will give you a task that you explore that how they are generating revenues when they are giving all the software free of cost and all. So they have a lot of mechanism through which they can earn, I mean, some money. Okay, so one of the important part, I just wanted to focus on, and of course, I will be coming back to the culture part, the talent part, and all. But before that, I thought, it's always good that I should set a tone for why, this talent has become so valuable, why, culture has become so valuable, and all. And if I take some of the organizations, even in my organizations also, we have a chief culture officers, whose role is basically chief people officers, chief culture officers, whose role is basically to take care of only the values and the behavior of the organizations. They are basically more prone to see it, building a positive culture in the organizations, building a different kinds of ethics in the organizations and all. So the digital disruptions, it is bringing change in the technology part, it is bringing change in the workplace, it is also bringing change in the workforce. And when we talk of the workforce, it is nothing, it's all related with the talent part. When we talk about the workplace, it is nothing but it's all related with the culture at the workplace and all. So this business operating model, it is also changing, and now we have started talking about the customer centricity, the customer delight. It's no more, customer satisfactions, because earlier, if you see, if you have, some kind of a issues with any of the product, be it related a refrigerator or a AC at your home and all, what you used to do, you just make a call to the customer care and logging, some kind of a ticket or a complaint, and those, the people, they will come back and they will, rectify, they will ask for some money if it is not warranty or under the guarantee part and all. They will ask money and they will go off. But in the back end, what they do, whatever the problem you are facing related to any of the gadgets, which you are using, they just take a record of, okay, uh, this particular product has this kind of issues and all, and this issues has been, resolved. After resolving, they raise this particular concern or the problem to the R&D center of their organizations, where, they do some kind of, the improvement in the product. When they come up with a new version of the product, I mean, maybe related to, AC or something, they will incorporate those kind of the complaint which has been recorded based on the customer feedback and all, and this new product will, come into the market. But now, this particular piece has, gone for a toss and all, in the sense that uh, they are doing, this kind of improvement. If I talk of, some of the companies like Samsung or Apple and all, before they launch the product, they do lot of research itself, and the research is nothing, they always try to understand the pain and gains of the customer. So they do a very thorough kind of a study just to understand that what expectations the customer has, which they wanted to, basically factor it when they're manufacturing, or when they are designing the features and functionality of the products and all. And based on that, when they come up with the product or a launch of the project into the market and all, they try to address all the issues, all the pains of the customer. It's not that, you are getting the complaint from the customer means, customer kind of, and then based on the, based on the customer feedback, you're improving the product and all. No, now
Excuse me, Dr.
most
Manoj.
of the companies,
Uh,
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir. Sir, can you please hide this stop sharing option, which is covering some part of your presentation also, sir?
Okay, okay, stop
Hide,
sharing.
hide, hide, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying, so if you see, I this kind of a companies, be it Samsung or be it Apple and all, they are very innovative companies. And when I'm saying innovative companies, they keeps on improving their products based on whatever the best of the best feature is available worldwide. And that's why currently, if you see, the most branded companies are, these top 5 6 companies are, because they continuously focusing on the innovations and the creativity of their product and services. Why, some of the companies, if I ask you, I think in say 20 years back and all, Sony was, known for their quality, known for their features and all, but they are no more. And the reason is very simple, that they have not focused on the continuous innovations on their products and all. And that's why they became, from first to second and second to third and third to fourth kind of in the hierarchy. And similarly, if you take other, I mean, the companies those are into the manufacturing of phones and all, only Apple is well appreciated, and people, wait for a year just to buy the phone with the new features, with the launch of the various versions. So very recently, a month back, we have seen it, the Apple 16 came into the market and all, with very minor, the features and all. So similarly, if you talk of, the previous version, so every year, Apple is doing some kind of improvement based on, their innovations and all, and they are coming with the new features and all. And that's why, even if you see the customer care on all, no, with if you are facing any problem with the phone and all, what to do usually, you just call the customer care, and then uh, tell, this is the issues, and the customer care person, he will say, okay, do this, do that, and then, he will try to rectify, say, on virtually itself. But if it is not solved, then you go to the customer care centers, which is maybe nearby in the city, and then you ask for, these are the problem, can you just, help me in terms of rectifying. The person, technician, he will come, he will take your phone into the lab, will check, and after half an hour he will come back, he will say, okay sir, I've just now seen what is the issues and all, so you have to leave your phone for 2 days, and after 2 days you can come and collect, it will be rectified. So currently, if I ask, a very simple questions to all our, the managers and the budding managers, uh, are you ready to, leave your phone for, are you ready to, leave yourself for 3 days without having a smartphone? The answer is very simple, no, not at all. And if you same kind of experience you wanted to see it, with the Apple and all, if you're having a problem, you just go to the, I mean, the center. Now it is not required to go to the service center. You just give a call. The person will come with a new phone without asking a very, any questions that what is the issues and all. He will give you the configured new phone, and he will take out your old phone, and uh, then you will be enjoying without having any disruptions. And these particular, things, because I spend a lot of time, I mean, say, in a lot of US and Europe, they are, they never ask, anything related to कि आप क्यों फ़ोन को वापस कर रहे हो, फ़ोन में क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्या मैं वो प्रॉब्लम को सही कर सकता हूँ? They will never. They respect, when customer is coming on the counter, whether it is for returning the phone or for buying the phone, they will not question it. They will honor, your intent, your intentions, and they will do whatever you want. It is not that, कि ठीक है मैं ठीक करके आपको दे दूंगा. So what I wanted to tell you here, uh, the focus of all the companies, those who are basically global companies, is changing, and they also realize that, customers are basically, they keeps on asking or chasing, some kind of improvement in their product. They're not a satisfied or a delighted kind of a customers. They always keeps on, changing their taste, changing their, the requirement, and based on that, the company needs to be very agile and volatile, so that they can capture, those kind of expectations of the customer. So customer centricity is also becoming, the major focus of all the companies. Another example, if I take you, the way you avail the, I think everybody is availing the services which is being provided by Ola and Uber, kind of, the platform. So where, when you are booking a car, I mean, say a taxi and all, driver comes to you, and after booking, you will see the what is the rating of the driver, say, from, in a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is the excellent part, and 1 is the, basically the lower part and all. So you can see it, okay, he has taken this many rides, and his, the feedback is from the customer is 4.8 or 4.9 out of 5. Okay, so you will happy, okay, driver acha hai, fine. And you just continue, you take those particular, the car with the drivers and all, you avail that particular services. Once the services is completed, then you are also getting, the opportunity to give a feedback. What is, what is your satisfaction level, uh, based on the services which you have rendered it, on Ola or Uber. The same thing also going to, the drivers also. Driver is also supposed to rate that how was your customer. So the, what I wanted to say is that the feedback has also become a 360-degree. It's not, you are giving a feedback and you're becoming a, kind of, the your hegemony is there and all. But it's not that, I mean, now the feedback is coming from all 360-degree, I can say it. So it's not only customer, but the services from where you're availing. And even Ola, Uber, they also rate, as a customer. Where are you, I mean, say, in terms of your behavior, in terms of, dealing with the drivers and all. And the second part is very important, if, I mean, say, driver is doing a misbehavior, with any of the customer in a day for 3 times, his entire, the system, I mean, say, the app will be locked. And when he's, getting into logging into the app again, now he has to go for, based on whatever the feedback you have given, by the 3 customers. Maybe, all the 3 customers said, okay, the driver is coming late, or driver is, he's not, basically behaving nicely and all. So when they will go for that, when they will again open the app and all, he has to go for a bite-sized kind of a learning. So maybe, how to greet with the customers when they are entering into a taxi, how you should greet it, how you should talk to them. So those kind of a bite size, the learning is given to them. And once they complete this particular course, after that only, he will be able to log in into the system. So why I'm telling all this, I'm just saying, wanted to, focus on that. The way we were doing the business and all, now it's all completely changed and all. And customer is becoming a prime focus for every organizations, whether it's a B2C, related to, any of the, as a manufacturing or a service rendering companies. You have to focus on this particular part. The second part which I want to tell you now, that is the digital, the workplace dynamics and all. So if I ask very simple, the app which I'm using, I'm on my mobile, I do have an app called People First. In People First, I do have lot of, I mean, so the facilities which I can use it. For example, I'm residing, some part of the Mumbai, and I wanted to hire a car and all. So for hiring a car, I need not to go for Ola and Uber. I do have an app, which is being developed by my organizations. I will log in into that particular app and I will book the taxi. So it may be, the pool car, or it may be, the app which has been developed by us. So the taxi will come. I will just get into the taxi, and then, immediately I will just log in and uh, my, on my People First, and simply, I will apply for, maybe, for Deepavali. I wanted to go for a leave and all. I can apply for a leave and all. After completing this particular part, I will just check my mails. I mean, it's again on the smartphone. Anything, which is urgent and important, I will reply immediately on that particular mail. And then, maybe it is taking, say, 45 minutes or say an hour kind of, the distance from from my place to the workplace and all. So what I will do, I will just go to my LMS, learning management system. I do have already, the path created for myself for my learning, and I will just plug the earphone, I mean, say, and then I will start, getting into that particular piece. So what I'm saying, now everything is basically, getting conversed into a single app, that is, your smartphone. And you can do, whatever you wanted to do, I mean, say, on that particular, say, the ESS app or a People First app and all. So everything is now, it is getting digitalized, and all the services which you're, earlier rendering based on I can say, no, based on basically, the different applications, meeting physically with the, the HR people, or meeting physically with the manager. Everything is happening now digitally. So this workplace is also, it's changing. So like, if I am going to the office and I need to, take a lift and all, uh, now all the intelligent buildings, they are all automated and all. So when when you're getting into that particular, I can say, the building, there are 5 6 lifts and all. You just put it, in which particular floor you wanted to go in, say 15th floor. So the dashboard, the screen is out of, say, not inside the lift, it is out of the lift. You just put it, and then immediately you will get it. Now this lift number, this one is coming for that particular floor base. They do, all kind of algorithm, they do all kind of analytics, and whichever is available here nearby, they will just pass the service request to them, and that particular lift will come. You just get inside. There is no button inside the lift for, this floor, that floor, because that particular informations or the feed you have already given before riding into the lift and all, elevators. And then, immediately you're going to that particular floor, the door will open and you go out. So what I'm saying, this kind of the workplace change is also happening. And I will also get into, some kind of, things which is basically redefining, our workplace and all. Third part is very important, is the workforce. As I said, I was right in the beginning that, uh, only people, those who are smart, fast, and effective, they are going to survive. And if you are smart, fast, and effective, then only you are going to be very productive to the organizations, because this particular changes is requiring you to always realign and make yourself relevant, and that you can do it only, by upskilling, reskilling, super skilling part and all. Okay, so I'm just going to the next slide. This is basically talking of, what it was, and what, how the things are changing. So if I take, I mean, say, in within the organizations, now earlier it was, we were talking about the employee engagement in the organizations. After that, we started talking about the employee's experience, and now it is more talking about the employee empowerment. And the example which I've given, on my People First part and all, it's nothing, it's empowerment. And when I'm saying empowerment, if you're applying for a leave, I think in any of the typical organizations, once you apply for a leave, it goes to your reporting manager, and your manager is supposed to, give approval on that. In my organizations, if you're applying for a leave, the leave will be automatically, approved. If you're applying for a travel, it will be automatically approved. The only caveat, in this is that once it is getting approved, one particular, the default mail will go to your reporting manager only. You have applied, and this is the date you are not in the office. Similarly, on the travel also, you have applied for this particular, for I may say traveling to these locations, nothing else from this date to this date. Now, what this particular application is doing, based on your eligibility, based on whatever entitlement you do have, being part of the organizations, being employee of the organizations, based on that, all the services, all the facilities will be providing. So like a senior leadership team, they can travel on a business class. So the this request will go to the travel desk automatically, and he will see, okay, he has all the information. Okay, Mr. X is working as the general manager in the organization, and he's entitled for the economy class, or he's entitled for the business class. Now the hotels will be on that particular location, because all the I mean, so the travel agent and the vendors are virtually available. They will book the hotels. They will just take a confirmation from you, and everything will so the taxi will be booked accordingly. So your travel desk, your is going to help you virtually for making your travel smooth and comfortable. Okay, so now gone are the days, where you were supposed to be in the office from 10 to 6. Now it is 24 by 7. Okay, and I think you will be agreeing also. And the impact has come, post COVID, it has a very high impact on that. So wherever you are, I mean, say whether you are traveling, whether at home, or you are at some remote locations, you are working 24 by 7. Now earlier, the organizations was completely hierarchy based. So right from starting from a management trainee to going up to the VP and senior VP and the president kind of a role. Now in most of the organizations, it is becoming a flat. So it is basically team member, team lead, team manager. That's all. Over. Then communications, earlier we were doing, I mean, say most of the communications to the email. Now, currently we are doing communications, with a lot of other, I mean, say the collaborative, I can say, the applications. And one of the important applications which I'm seeing is the MS Teams, or even the Geo Meets and all, where, do a lot of collaborations on. Earlier, your work were, defined. So when you're coming to the office, now these are the 10, the activity which you have to do it. But now it is defined the outcome. So outcome is nothing, it's a OKR, objectives and the key results. So being a part of the organizations, you are supposed to carry some kind of a OKR, and that OKR will be monitored on a regular basis, on a real time basis, by your managers and all. Similarly, earlier we were focusing on the knowledge. Now we are more focusing on the adaptive knowledge. So whatever is relevant for you, those kind of the learning is required. Not everything is required for you. Similarly, earlier no flexibility. Now we have a lot of flexibility, so you can operate from home, you can operate from any other multiple locations, you can operate from the office. So this flexibility and the agility is it's well established and accepted by the organizations. And if I give you the example, if some of the organizations, those who were gone completely the virtual during the COVID period, they are fighting a lot in terms of bringing their resources back to the office, because now these all the talents, they are more comfortable working from anywhere kind of, in spite of coming to the office daily and spending a lot of unproductive time in commuting. So that is also now, it's a well accepted and a new normal for the organizations. Similarly, handling of the informations. So earlier, if Varmaji and Sarmaji is not in the office, your work is not going to happen, or it's not going to completed, because this both the Varmaji and Sharmaji is not in the office, and the file is with him. Now if you see the current mode, every all the informations, it is on the shared, I mean, so the informations, and whether he's coming or not coming, I mean, so, this Varmaji and Sarmaji, your work will continue, because it's all system based informations. And the only thing, you require a login and the password for availing those kind of informations. uh, Next part is, office was completely physical, and we have also realized that the office has become a virtual office. Operate from anywhere. You're a global citizen, and you're a global, I can say, employees of the organizations. Similarly, earlier it was working on the office device only, but now with all the network security and all, you can work from any, I'm say, any of the devices, whether it's a laptop or a desktop or a smartphone, whatever. Similarly, corporate teaching and learning, it was basically done in a very in a physical classroom kind of things, but now it's a democratized, and we call it SDL, that is the self-directed learning on your own pace. Learning is on your fingertips 24 by 7, so you can do the learning from anywhere, anytime. It's completely available for you. The only thing is that and in the learning itself, it's a bookmark also. So wherever if you have used the Netflix and all, wherever you're living, maybe say if the course is for an hour and you have spent only 10 minutes and rest of the time, you are not busy with some other thing. So when you're further logging in, it will start from 10 minutes onward for an hour kind of a courses. So that is also becoming very important. And some of the examples, yeah, I just wanted to give which is more related with the organization culture part and all. Earlier, in any of the organizations, when you're completing your courses and all, I mean, say completing your say the entire year, which is basically your performance appraisals and all, and the payoff is done related to the promotions or increment and all. Then the HR was doing, I mean, a kind of a satisfaction survey, and based on the satisfaction survey, they were just taking 5 6 or say maybe 10 agenda item for driving next year, if something is basically negative or the feedback is not good and all. But if you see, I mean, in the current organizations, most of the feedback is happening on the real time basis. It is 24 by 7. You have to give the feedback, and HR is, it's too much I mean, say agile and aligned with, your requirement, that they also keeps on pressing, I mean, whatever the changes is required, not wait for a year, for the feedback and the, the satisfaction survey, but they started, working on a real time basis. So real time basis, they are getting the feedback, and whatever the action item is required, they are just doing, I mean, say 24 by 7 on those. Okay, so this is basically talking about what are the new technologies being part of, I mean, say the budding managers or a manager. So now these are the technology where you have to focus a lot. And if you have not, I mean, say, irrespective of whether you're a marketing guy or you're a finance guy or you're an engineer or you're a HR guy, or a analytics guy, you have to focus on that. The application is only different. So if I take the example of the analytics is required similar in a very similar fashions for the marketing. It is required, I mean, say, in a very similar technology is required, I mean, say, for the HR also. It is also required for the finance. Now the application is only different. So if you have learned say Power BI, if you have learned, I mean, say SQL, or if you have learned Python, or a R, these R can be used for HR. The same R can be used for the marketing. Same R can be used for the finance and also. The important part is that don't get scared that okay, I'm a HR guy. Why I should go for a Python? Why I should go for a R? Why I should go for analytics? Because even if you're HR, analytics is required. So analytics is required related to your talent, related to your learning, related to your engagement. Everywhere, whatever you're doing as a part of the organizations, you are generating data, and those data are very important for the organizations for taking the decisions on the real time basis. Similar in the marketing pass and also. So my submissions to all our, I mean, say the participants, learner for this particular session, that don't get scared by seeing the technology and by saying that okay, this is not required. Artificial intelligence, the internet of things, the big data, the social and mobile technology, the RPA, the cloud computing, the cyber, the security, everything is required, but the only applications will be different, and also the proficiency level will be different. So if you are working as a data scientist, your, I mean, so proficiency level as a data scientist on the data should be at a mastery level. But if you're working in HR, maybe if you're at the skill level, it is sufficient for you. So applications will be different, proficiency will be different, but all the technology is required. So this is one of very important slide, and it's going to help you in terms of where I should focus as a budding manager or a manager. So on the behavioral side, if you see the World Economic Forum, they are talking about storytelling, self management, active listening, problem solving, analysis, critical thinking, digital dexterity. These are the basically, I can say, the soft skill where you need to focus it. And when I'm talking about the say the technology related things, then of course you require to focus on some of the things which are related with the data science, AI, ML. Chat GPT is now becoming a vogue for everybody to get into that. NLP, the large data is also is required, and this is more I mean say focusing when you are working I mean say in the manufacturing, because I know some of the the participants for this particular session, they are also coming say from the manufacturing, right? So machine learning optimizations, adaptive manufacturing, the green I mean say supply chain management or a green HR, those are things which requires. And of course the AR VR is also one of the things which is popping up very fastly across the world. So you also try to understand that what is the use case of the AR and VR which you can use it for your I mean say organizations and all. This is basically the what are those imperative for the organization. So technology should be always enabler. Okay, it should not be the core of the organizations. Organization should focus on the health and the wellness program. They should focus, how they are going to measure the the outcome of whatever the activity or whatever the the productive work you are doing. You also need to be connected with the employees. So there are different platforms through which you can be connected. One of the platform which we are using currently is the Zoom. I can say MS Team. Now the co-pilot is also popping up very fastly, and this is one of the area which I suggest, not only suggest, basically I propagate, you should learn I mean say the co-pilot also, because that is going to make your life very easy. So if you wanted to make a presentations on any of the topics where you have just an idea, simple idea, go to the chat GPT, unpaid versions. So version 4 is unpaid versions, or you go to the co-pilot, or you go to the brute and all, and you just write, I want two pager or maybe 200 words on this particular thing. After some time, after giving the command and all, they will extract and they will come up with maybe one pager on that. The only thing is that you have to see it, do some kind of a customization, because as I said right in the beginning, machine cannot replace your brain, machine cannot replace your innovations, machine cannot replace your context. And also you do some kind of a customizations and convert those basically the write-ups into completely a fancy PowerPoint presentations which you wanted to present to your managers or a senior leadership team. You can use some of the tools called gamma.com, which help you in terms of creating a very fancy presentations. Even you can use the copilot also. So, and the last part which I feel it's very important, that you should be abreast with all the all kind of a managing change, because change is inevitable, and it's unavoidable. So you need to be very effective change manager also, because these disruptions will make you irrelevant if you're not making yourself change, or you're not driving the change in the organization. With this, I will just, I will talk of, some future of the work which is related with the technology, the workforce demography, and then the social culture. I think most of the part I've already covered it, but yes, for the benefit of, I thought, okay, I will just show you. Uh, this is basically where you should focus. So gig economy and the talent is one of the part which is basically very important when you're talking about the talent, and when you're redefining organizations based on the digital disruptions and all. Digital mindset, one of the challenge, particularly for the people those who are basically with the on a mid, I mean, say mid age kind of in the organizations, or maybe later part of older to the organization. So uh, don't forget that this digital mindset is important, and that is going to come only when you are focusing on the digital dexterity part, that is learning of new of the tools, new of the technology, to make yourself relevant forever. Then learning agility, as I said, it is also required. And growth mindset, also includes the resilience part, and we have seen it during the the crisis period, the pandemic, how this resilience and the growth mindset work in terms of defining and redefining the organization's talent, organization culture. And of course I already talked about the organizational change management. So this is basically a quality, how the talent can be basically uh, empowered when you're working in the organization. So the first part, I call it the enablement. So enablement is nothing, if you wanted to make your employees productive, then what are the tools which you wanted to give? So like MS Team, is one of the tool. Similarly, there are a lot of other tools, which you can give it to, so that you can enable your employees to work in a very effective and a productive way for the organizations. Similarly, energy is also important. So when I'm saying talking about energy, it is the physical energy, the mental energy, the emotional energy, and the spiritual. And this has become a very important, our none of the training programs, none of the big town hall, none of the the leadership meet goes if there is nothing related to the spiritual part, if it's nothing related to the meditation part. And so now it has become the swas, the health part, and the uh, the wellness has become a very prime and the focus for organization. So try to incorporate these kind of things also in your organization, so that you can have a balance on both. Similarly, I talked about the, the empowerment part. So empowerment and nothing, now there is a big shift which is going on, and I call it the paradigm shift now. Employees are becoming the focus for the organizations, and they are also getting empowered to take a lot of decisions. So one thing which is coming up very fastly is the self service. You should be sufficient to do your work in a more effective way without having dependency with others. Like if if you wanted to download data, you should know how to download the data from the data lake based on the HANA and Hive, not depending on the IT people will come, he will download the data, he will give it to me, I will do the analysis part, I will do the slicing and dicing part, and then I will create the the different kinds of a report and the dashboard, which is going to help my managers to take the decision. So you need to be self-service, self-sufficient, and self-service is the new buzz, and you need to accelerate yourself, that how fastly you can become a self-service and productive to the organizations. Similarly, one important part which I always focus on, that basically the encouragement, because you are working with the human beings, you're not working with the machines and all, where there is no emotions. So you need to give appreciations for all the good works. And I believe on the culture of uh, celebrating and accelerating kind of things, where you give appreciations, display your gratitude for even for a small good thing which is being done by your team members and all. And always recognize anything which is outstanding, or anything which is significantly contributed. Even on Monday also, we are conducting a town hall, and for one day town hall, we have factored 2 hours only, for this particular piece, that is the encouragement to our employees. So future is data driven and it is flexible. And here I will just stop myself and look for any questions which you have.
Okay, candidates, you can, participants, you can post your questions through the chat box. You can interact with Dr. Manoj.
So I think somebody has written in Punjabi. So
So
can
actually, it means, sir, she was not getting the voice properly, I think. That
okay,
is,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So over to you. Any question?
Right, sir. I have compiled some questions which I have received
Yeah,
from
please.
other mediums. So I would
Mhm.
start with that. Just a second, sir. Okay. Sir, we have a question like a student has asked that how can I best prepare myself for digital transformation happening in the workplace? What skills should I focus on developing? Since you have covered this part in a very, comprehensive manner in your presentation. So can you just give a gist about this question, sir?
So I think there are two pieces where you have to focus. One is the software skill, and I've already given in one slide that what are those software skills. So the first thing is related with the communications part.
Right.
Where now the things are moving towards what do you call, more into
Adapting.
storytelling mode. Digital dexterity is the second part, where you have to create a mindset of the digital. Don't escape yourself, because this is also going to be a very important for your persona, for your growth, for your uh, performance and all. uh, on the technology part, yes, AI is, of course, it's taking the entire world. Then there are lot of other, I mean, say the analytics part, which are more related with data part and all. So I think that particular slides gives you all insight, where you need to focus. And again, I'm repeating, irrespective of what domain you're working, whether you're an engineer or you're a say software engineer, or you're a manager, or you're a leader and all, you need to focus. One thing is very important, that don't say that okay, I don't I don't need, I mean, say blockchain, I don't need cloud computing. Yeah, it is required, but only the proficiency level will be less. So the
Right.
person, those who are working into, say, in the cloud computing, and of course the cloud is very much required for them. But if you are into, say, working on, say, marketing, finance, or so the manufacturing, analytics is one of the things, which you cannot escape yourself.
Right, sir. Wonderful, sir. So one more question we have received. Since you have, work experience for different regions and cultures, and since you have worked for different countries also, what differences have you noticed in the, approaches in for different countries and in India, with regard to digital transformation and talent management?
Okay, so if I see, my stint with some of the organizations like Toyota or say Boeing and all, in US particularly, in US, they always take a decisions. I'm talking of the cultural part and all.
Right, sir.
So the senior management, they take a decisions, and they discover, how to implement those when you're talking about the digital transformation part and all. But in Europe, they take a lot of time to first bring a consensus. So consensus is coming from the bottoms down. So it's basically the people, those who are on the last mile or a ground zero. Okay, they get involved in all kind of decisions, and gradually, they start from the ground level, then they go on the mid level, that is the manager level, and then based on these all consensus, they decide, okay, now we have to go. So they have, they have a culture like this. Consensus based decisions also help you in terms of, prompting your, I mean, say, the transformations in a better and effective way, because everybody is already on boarded. Don't try to, plug the people, at the last point of, your change cycle or your transformation cycle. But in US, as I said, they take decision, then they discover how to go on that. But in India, it's a mix of both, I can say, because we are neither following, I mean, say, the completely Western, nor, I mean, say, the Japanese style of management. We are in between, and we have, lot of, I can say, ethos in our, I mean, say, DNA itself, where we go for a mix, and then we get into those kind of things. And if you see currently, in even my organizations also, uh, we are trying to, plug any kind of a disruptions or a, digital transformations when we are driving. We are involving first the top leaders, just to get, educate and get the buy-in.
Right.
And the next level basically is start engaging, all the impacted stakeholders.
Right.
So start with the leadership, go into the management, and then, take the impact to the next stage. So, like, I can give you the example. When we are implementing this people first, all the critical resources were already part of this particular, the project, I mean, uh, project development, and then, for the implementation, because we have used the, a methodologies or a framework called design thinking. And when we're saying design thinking, it's basically, work with the critical stakeholders, try to understand what is the business requirement, what problem you are going to solve as a use case, and then, take the input and then develop the system. So develop the system is doesn't mean that, you are coming with the implementation or the product which you have developed, it's a perfect one. First,
Right.
you go with the MVP. MVP is nothing; it's a minimum viable product. Okay. So if I wanted to commute, say, from say Jalandhar to Amritsar, I do have, 3 4 modes. I can go by road, I can go by train, I can go by, my own, I mean, say, the car, I can go by the bus, or I can take a flight and all. Now, what MVP says, you just try to see what is immediately available, and which is convenient for also. So if I talk of taxi, taxi can come to my doorsteps. He can take me to the destination's doorsteps. So this is one way. But if I wanted to, do the further improvement on that, so I can take flight, I can take train, which will be more faster. Okay. So what this MVP says as a part of the, say, design thinking, that first you come with the minimum, which you can resolve it, and then add the features and
Right.
functionality
Complexities.
on the top of that,
Right.
and then you make your product, very robust and very effective. uh, and again, the second part is, if you want to fail fast. That is also very important. Fail
Wonderful.
fast, learn from, from the failure, and scale up. That is the second part, where we need to focus on.
Right.
Fourth piece, which which I have learned, can I say, throughout my experience, is that uh, act when age of the problem is zero. So don't wait for when baby becomes a baba.
Right.
So try to develop the attitude or a mindset that I will act when the problem is very small, in a very in a very seed stage. Not wait for ki once it is getting busted, then I will become I will come as a hero and I will resolve it. And we have a lot of I can say the experience which has helped us in terms of uh, identify, I may say, the problem at the seed stage and act to resolve it before it becomes a big problem for you.
Right,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah,
Right,
doctor.
sir. So wonderful lines are, if you are scared of failing, fail fast.
Yeah.
Right, sir. So one more question we have, last question I can see. Can an accountant do a data science course? If so, what should be the focus area?
Okay, accountant can do it. I mean, say there is a course on Microsoft called DA, that is the data analytics. 11100.
Okay.
This is one thing which you take a note of, and you can do it from there. Otherwise, there are a lot of other, I mean, say data science tools which you can use it. One tool I can say the SQL part. So I will just give you a very simple example. I know data is basically it's laying in in some of the system in the organizations.
Right, sir.
For the accountant also, data is being generated on the various kind of attraction. So be it related with your indirect tax, or your treasury part, or your account receivable or account payable. Okay, there are different mode of data and all.
Correct.
So data is already laying there. So what you have to do as a part of the accountant, you extract those data which are important for you. So what you are going to do it, you are going to basically make a structure of the data. So a structure is nothing basically from the data lake. You wanted to take some of the relevant data which is supposed to be consumed by you. So what you are going to do it, you want a structure from the data lake will come by using a very simple kind of a I can say the software is called SQL, that is the sequence query language. Okay,
Yes.
don't
Yes.
get into it's a very difficult. I am not a software engineer, I'm an accountant, or I'm CA. I will not able to learn those kind of SQL. For your informations, SQL is being taught for in the schools for class 4 students. You can understand, and I've seen it in many of the schools. They've already started. So SQL will help you in terms of creating a data from the data lake into the structure which you want. So what should be in the column, what should be in the in the row and all that, you can decide it. Once the data is with you, then you use some kind of a tool called Python or R, which is going to help you, or even you can use Tableau, which will help you in terms of doing the slicing and dicing of the data based on your requirement, or based on the what manager is asking you. So the second part is, after SQL, is the Python or a R, which will help you in terms of slicing data. Now the third part, which is important as an accountant, you have to generate a lot of reports. So that reports you can generate by either by using, say, Tableau or a Power BI. Power BI is having better features and advanced features, but it is option is with you. You can start with a Tableau and you can get into the Power BI, and then you create a dashboard. This dashboard is going to help me in terms of if I wanted to know in last 4 quarter, how much tax I have paid it as a part of, say, individual, I mean, the person, or income tax, or say indirect GST and all. So those kind of a data can immediately come on your dashboard, and this will help you to take a decisions as a manager. Okay, on the real time basis, now I have to take, I mean, say, decisions which is going to help or good for my organizations or for my department. So there are 3 4 things as a content you need to learn when you're talking about the data analytics piece. Yeah.
Right. So, sir, this question and answer session has motivated more students to ask more questions.
Okay.
One question is also been asked that one student has already done a data analytics course, but
Mhm.
he feels that there is too much competition and almost no vacancies for the freshers. So, what they must do as a fresher to get a job in this domain?
So I think you need to focus on 2 3 things. One, of course, the data analytics part is going to help you irrespective of in which particular domain you are. Second part will be try to learn something which is into the behavioral part, like problem solving skills, or effective I can say the communication. So these are the behavioral part. But if you really wanted to distinguish your profile, from the crowd or from the lot, you should try to do it on some of the courses which are related with the digital dexterity, okay, which are related with the uh, I don't know what is your background and all. But if you have a background that is related to the management students and all, then you focus on three, four soft skills, and three, four, say the technology related things. So when I'm technology related, I'm not talking about 3D printing or say IoT kind of things. You should focus on some of the technologies which are related to AI, machine learning, and deep learning. And the second will be, of course, the analytics piece. So data analytics is also the you know area where you have to focus, because when we go for the campus and all, uh, I know, all the students, they have passed out, say, either engineering or a graduation, so I cannot distinguish. The second part will be related to, uh, if I'm getting into say marketing, so I do have, say around 200 profile on the marketing and all. But I will always look for, if everybody is basically MBA in marketing, then what are those, I mean, 10, 15 in the profile which has done some plus plus. Okay, so plus plus is nothing; it's a differentiator. So with say marketing, I have done, some kind of a digital marketing course, or I have done something which is related to SGO course, or there is something which is related with the data analytics. So I will just try to pick those, people, those have a something, different from the entire population, and then I will call for the interview, or whatever the process we do have. So try to focus yourself on some of the areas which can bring a differentiator, not like a general I can say general students, everybody is completed MBA, everybody is done, say digital marketing, or everybody has done say some courses on the financial part. What extra plus plus you have done it, which can help me in terms of differentiating yourself from the crowd.
Right, sir. Sir, on the same lines, I would like to ask you, suppose a student like this, a fresher student, how they, proceed with networking to get a, role or job in this kind of profile. So networking behavior, how they can manage.
Networking, it's always good. One thing is that I usually go most of the time to the IAMS and all. Okay,
Okay,
so the way they, earlier when I was studying MSA, most of this kind of activity was basically done by the TPO office, that is the
right,
training and placement officer and all. Okay, but now in all most of your MSA, the if you go to the top slots,
right.
MBA schools and all, I think entire event is being managed by the student itself,
Students.
and they get ample of opportunity to interact with the corporate. Now it is up to you, what kind of the relationship you wanted to build with the corporate people, because corporate keeps on hunting for good talents and all. And
Right.
if something and also try to see that when you are even studying, how you can get engaged yourself apart from these courses, which is not in your course curriculum. You should do some kind of a live projects. And I know, I think just a month back, and I was just engaging one sessions with I'm Vijay, okay, Visakhapatnam or Vijay, you said, where I've seen within the 2 years of course, the students were completed at least six live projects. And live project doesn't require to be yourself into the office premise and all. You just have a connect with some of the corporate, and they always keeps on going with different kinds of a problem and all, being a big organizations, and get some projects which can help you in terms of not only honing your skills but also learning part. And I will give you, one example. Uh, when we do MBA and all, during I may say the entire 2 years of course, we get 2 months, where we are getting an opportunity to go to the say some of the organizations and see
Internship.
actually what is happening and all. But this 2 months is not going to hone you or upskill yourself to be become a very relevant and pertinent to the organization's requirement and all. So what I'm suggesting, one way is like if you take the example of MBBS. In MBBS, from say year first year itself, they start going to the hospitals, they're going for the clinicals, they are interacting with the patients and all. Okay, and the teachers, those who are basically becoming are the professors, say maybe daytime he's a professor, say on say some of the specialized area. Okay, but in the evening, or he's going as a doctor, he's going as a surgeon and all. So there, whatever they are teaching, they are also practicing. Are we into the same scenario when we are doing the MBA? No, we wait for 2 months, just to go to the organizations. And that too, I've seen it, a lot of the people, they will say, okay, where I can go? Okay, my father is working in HEL, so I will go HEL because, it's convenient for me to get into internship there. So they will not try to do, something where they have a lot of pain. And this pain is going to bring a lot of gain also. So
Right.
try to, focus on those areas. And live project is one of the things, which will give you a lot of confidence, not only on your, I mean, so what you are studying, but also, what you are practicing. Because the people, those who are in the corporate, they become a mentor and they will help you and guide you. Okay, do this, do this, do this, do like this, and kind of thing. So they always set the light expectations, and also give a good exposure and experience too. So education, experience, and exposure, these are the things, we should focus, not as a student but also as a part of, I can say, the faculty in the curriculum also. And that's why, if you see, in IIMs and all, they are saying 30 hours, we are going to give 30 hours for the corporate people, to come in the organizations and give us, some kind of exposure. This 30 hours is not sufficient, even in IIMs also. And what I look, I mean, say, as a part of the corporate, or what we look as a corporate, I think if I go to the campus and all, I'm hardly getting people. How
Right.
many people, they are basically, being a HR person, they knows R, they knows Python, okay, or they knows, what is required, I'm saying, data science or a design thinking. Maybe, most of them blockchain. And also, you try to grab something, where the entire world is shaping up. This technology is, it is moving very fast. Mobile which you're buying, after 6 months, there will be new version with the new features. So if a company can, keeps on updating themselves, in terms of their value proposition, why can't we? Because we also wanted to be relevant to the industry. So
Right.
make yourself relevant to the industry. Don't go only with the course curriculum, because changing in the course curriculum, it passes through various,
Right, sir. Wonderfully and comprehensively, sir, answered. I hope the student has got his question answer clear. One more question I would like to take, if your permission, sir.
yeah, yeah, please, please.
Okay. Student has asked that what domain should a student learn from HR, because different organization may need may have different requirements. So as an HR, what domain should be focused by the student?
Analytics, talent analytics,
Analytics, HR
and the
analytics.
culture, and the
Right.
culture. Yeah.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Last question I would take, sir.
Mhm.
Student has asked that I am already working as a gig workforce for a company in different projects and in different domains. What will be the appropriate approach to a new company regarding this experience when it comes to data analyst?
So you are working, I mean, say, gig workforce in what particular area?
Sumita, if you can answer, in what particular area you're working? Content moderation and data analysis, sir.
Content moderations and data analytics. Content moderation, it's more related with the content, which are related with the, some product or services.
Uh, Sumita, if you could answer.
Yes, you can come on the
Yes.
screen.
Let
Okay,
me try to
digital user
unmute
profile.
herself. Sumita, you can also unmute and ask your question directly to the sir.
Yeah, Shunita.
Sumita, you can speak.
Yes, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Sumita.
yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I'm talking about the user-generated content, sir, like the videos and the audios generated by the user. I need to
Mhm.
validate and review the content regarding that, and I have to analyze that if the content is matching the SOPs, the requirements or not, and update the same as a report to the company itself.
So you can learn, something called process mining. Okay, which is going to help you in terms of, finding out anything which is exceptional into the content, which is not required. So data mining, I think, there are some tools called Disco and all, which you can learn it from. So just take a note of data mining. Otherwise, you can also explore, something into the graphics. You can explore into the AR, VR. That is going to be, or UI UX is also one of the things where you have to upskill yourself.
Sir, actually, I'm more interested in the data analyst thing, so I wanted to explore this field more. But due to lack of experience in that particular field, so I wanted to explore that. If you can give me that idea, that how can I?
Yeah, so you learn, I'm say, SQL and Python.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir. Uh, Thank you so much, Dr. Manoj, for your expertise and insights that you have given us. That this has made us a lot to think about. From I think from the agility point which you have taken in your presentation, also to the cultural change. I think these ideas will help us in these evolving times. And a big thank you to all the participants for giving us their time and attention. I hope this session has inspired you for new ways of thinking about developing your talent and be more adaptable. Thank you so much, participants. And also, I would like to thank all our senior dignitaries, our HOW ma'am, Gindini Javan ma'am, our head of director, Manish sir, and all the team working behind the screen to make all of these sessions possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So you can get connected with me on LinkedIn also.
Right. So can you
You
share
can
your
post.
LinkedIn ID on the chat box so that we can share it with the students?
Just a moment.
Right. Sir. Right.
Yeah.
Sir. So Manoj K. Prasad, PhD, will search it on LinkedIn and we'll find you, sir. Sir,
Yep.
even it's a personal request also. If you have some time, you can spare so we can create a kind of a series of sessions with the students so that you can, more one-to-one in kind of interaction we can provide to the students if you have some kind of time which you can
I
spare
think
out.
sometimes you plan because earlier
Yeah.
when I was in ITC, I used to go to your lovely professional university. I
Yes, sir.
know I've gone there in fact, and
Yes,
I
sir.
met with your who I think the university vice chancellor and all.
Right, sir.
Because at that point we were working, some of the some kind of a service,
Right.
understanding and all. But I
Right.
think better, you can have some one or two physical classes also because that will give a different impact.
Correct, sir. So we can
Even more
definitely
activity
we
based.
can certainly plan such sessions, but right now this session which we have conducted now, these are especially for those students who are connected with us remotely through the online
I can
degree
understand.
programs.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
no problem.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing out time for us today.
Yep, yep. Thanks. Good day and have a nice weekend.
Thank you, sir.